Good evening, Facebook. What's up, family? Members of Let's Talk About It. So happy that you joined in this evening. Appreciate you. Got a very interesting topic tonight. Thought-provoking topic. I want everybody to stay within their rationality and not get in their emotions. All right, that way we can have some real clear, crispy, clean dialogue. I'm gonna go over some subjects. You see the title, ladies. Men treat you how they meet you. How did they meet you? That's the question. How did they meet you? These are very important questions because how they meet you determines everything. Determines the outcome. And these are things that a lot of us, especially a lot of ladies, don't pay much attention to. How did you meet this guy? Where did you meet this guy? Under what circumstances did you meet this guy? Before we go right into it, everybody type in the chat room. What kind of day did you have today? Did you have a good day today? Type in the chat room. Put a G if it was good. Put a exclamation point if it wasn't so good. Whatever you choose that indicates it wasn't so good. Put a G if it was good though. Put that in the chat room. I want to know how everybody's day was today. Wade, shout out to Wade Devon, my cousin. What's going on, family? I'm so happy that you jumped in, man. Tracy Jerome Kubish, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I got your messages today, man. I appreciate you for just reaching out. And I absolutely appreciate you for taking the time out of your schedule today, man, to jump on this stream tonight. Shout out to you. Shout out to Fred Johnson, my best friend. Shout out to you for jumping on the stream. Shout out to Gail. Shout out to Abdul. And let me see. Did I miss anybody? No, I didn't miss anybody. Shout out to my cousin Jewel. Shout out to Jewel. Jewel in the house. I appreciate y'all jumping in. Appreciate you. We got a real stinging kind of conversation tonight. Again, the topic is ladies. Men treat you how they meet you. How did he meet you? That's a very, very good question. Because a lot of times these are things that are not taken into consideration. Whatever we want, we never consider that we need to be a specific way to get the thing that we want. And too often, a lot of ladies, in particular, I mean our women in particular, black women, they lead with sex. And I hate to start right there, but that's usually where it starts. You know, they lead with sex, and when you lead from the front like that, the results can't be that good. At the end of the day, if a man is attracted from that standpoint from the very beginning, then his response is going to be accordingly. You can't expect a committed idea from an uncommitted act. And the whole idea of having sex is usually predicated on family, is predicated on commitment, is predicated on you being a couple. So if it started from a standpoint where there is no commitment, then it stands true that the response is going to be equal to the same level that it was given. And you know, that's unfortunate. Because of that, 80% of all black children are born outside of wedlock. So they're born in a family, they're born in a home where two people are not committed, where they said, it was a mistake. Okay, I get it. It was a mistake. But at the end of the day, men determine relationships in marriage, and women determine sex and childbirth. So this is why it's so important for women to take it serious. Who she gives that permission to. It's very important that she takes that very serious. Who she gives that permission to. Because once she gives it, it's too late. It's too late to take it back. And then what happens is you find yourself with children, ladies, later on, multiple children, in fact, in most cases, and you have not yet developed enough to where you are at a place in your head where you even know, in most cases, how to even be a mother effectively, much less a wife, much less a committed companion. And with what comes with that is a lot of animosity and anger based on those decisions. And it's internalized to the point where now it hurts, and it's too painful to internalize it. So you externalize it, and then it becomes blaming the man, blaming him. But in reality, it's like everything else. It's like you've heard me say before in other streams. You can't wash your left hand without your right hand. It takes two to do everything, you know. So that means there was some responsibility on both sides. But I believe, ladies, that you have the cards in your hand to make the decisions better for yourself. So how did he meet you? How did he meet you? Where were you? What were you doing when he met you? What did he say to you when he met you? And what did you say back to him after he responded to you? So all of these things determine the outcomes as you go forward in that same relationship. See, all too often what happens is when the outcomes are negative, women tend to find fault in the choice that they made. The choice that they made. And in truth, ladies, it's not altogether men's fault. You have to take some accountability in the decisions that you make as well. So, if it takes two to make the relationship work, it also takes two to make the relationship fall apart. And you've heard me say this before in other streams, but how he met you is how he's going to deal with you. If you didn't give him any, if he didn't have to fill out a resume, and he still got the job, then what do you think his production is going to be on that job? It's not going to be that much. He didn't have to fill out any resume. He didn't have to have any qualifications. He just had to show up. And a lot of times with a lot of our women, they base their reasons and for having sex, it's based on how he looks. Oh, he's attractive. Oh, he's fine. Boy, he just don't know what I will do to him. Yeah, well, he knows what you'll do to him. But more importantly, what will it do to you in the long run? It's not what it will do to him, because he'll walk away. He can walk away. But what will it do to you in the long run when you find the decision that you made to do that prematurely doesn't give you the outcome that you want? And then you find that now you have a child. See, here's the thing. My whole motivation with my talking points is to get women to get the outcomes that they want. To get the outcomes that they want. And not only that, but to make clear to women what we want as men. And which is a long... This has been something that's been long evaded. No one cared what men want. So because no one cares what men want, and it's only been focused at what women want, you don't know. And I understand. I get it. You don't know. So you move in such a way that it brings about bad results for yourself. And a lot of times it's brought up, it's given to you, this information is given to you from who you're around. It could be an auntie, it could be a grandmother, it could be your own mom. Okay? If they don't understand, then they're going to teach you the same thing. So how he meets you is exactly how he's going to treat you. If he meets you with a head on your shoulders, if he meets you with standards, if he meets you where you take pride in yourself, if he meets you and you're respecting of yourself, if he meets you where he can't just run over you and say anything he wants to say to you, if he meets you like that, then you'll force him to either conform to a better way of acting and behavior, or you'll make him run away. If he runs away, it's better for you. If he stays, then it means you probably found a good one. found a good one. But if you give him nothing on the resume to qualify for it, if he doesn't have to qualify for anything, then how he treats you is going to be exactly the way he meets you. You know, it's going to be exactly the way he meets you. And I'll tell you, ladies, we have to do better in our community, because if we don't, what is the alternative? The alternative is, if we continue with the way this culture is leading women to believe that being loose and being promiscuous and being easy is the way to go. I mean, if you listen to the music, if you listen to the songs, if you listen to the lyrics of some of these songs, you heard me mention earlier in another previous stream, this song called WAP. This song got a Grammy Award. Really? WAP? It got a Grammy Award. And I don't have to tell you what the words mean, but I'm sure those of you that know the song, you know exactly what the words mean. That's a song that was given a Grammy Award. Now look at that. This is what's being promoted. This is what's being marketed to our women in our communities. And it's painting a narrative, and it's teaching a lie to black women that this is what men really, really want, and this is what's attractive, and this is what will get them the best results. And it won't. The outcomes will not be good results. We can look at the actors, and we can look at the celebrities right now in the media, and we can watch their results and see that it does not work. And money didn't change it. Money didn't change the results. The results still remain the same across the board. Whether you're poor or whether you're wealthy, the results are still the same. The results are still the same. I mean, if you look at the singer, Sweetie, she's pregnant right now again. Nobody married her. If you look at a lot of different situations across the board in the media, look at what they're marketing. We got the singer Ciara. She's married to a very, very successful black man, Russell Wilson. But look at her. She just did a video where she's twerking on the top of a car at a public gas station. This is a wife and a mother. A wife and a mother. Now some will say, well, she's promoting an album. Okay, the very fact that you could excuse the fact that she's doing it only to promote an album tells you that there's a problem in your head. Because if that is not strange to you or abnormal to you, then that already clearly defines that there is a real problem. This is a wife and a mother. All right? Who's sitting on top of a car at a gas station, a public gas station, twerking and shaking her butt cheeks on the top of a car with a bunch of other girls around the car. I saw the video. It's disgraceful, coming from a wife and a mother. So you see the narrative. How did he meet you? How did he meet you? A lot of times determines, in most cases determines, how he treats you. It tells him what level he needs to respect you on, or if he needs to respect you at all. So these are the things you got to think about. And not after you make the decision, not after the mistake is done, but before the mistake is done, before the decision is made. Understand exactly what the consequences are based on decisions. Life is about two things. It's about choices and trade-offs. What do you end up trading off by making the wrong decision? What do you end up trading off by making the wrong decision? As a black woman, what do you end up trading off with yourself when you make the wrong decision? Because you do get a trade-off. Life, again, is about choices and trade-offs. What did you trade off with the choice that you made? And how will that affect you down the road in the long term? Will it get you the outcomes that you really want? I mean, I'm talking about what you really want inside. You want a family. And I'm sure if I had everybody that's on this live visually, where I could see you and I could interact with you face to face, and I asked this one question I'm about to ask, and I asked you, how many of you want to be married? I promise you, most of you would probably say yes, me. And then I'd have to ask you, how many do you want to work and to pay significant bills after you're married? Most women don't want to do that. But look at the outcomes now, based on bad decisions. Choices, trade-offs. Choices, trade-offs. What did you trade off by making the choices that you made? He treats you exactly, no more, no less than how he meets you. You tell him how he should treat you based on how he meets you. And I'll tell you something, ladies, understand that you have more power in that area than you even understand or realize. Men are better when you get better. They are. Because the problem doesn't lie with the men that you have a problem with. The problem really doesn't lie with the men that you're angry with. The problem lies with you. With you. Because the decision is made from you. You have the power to access to your body, and you have the power to decide childbirth. Men decide relationships and marriage. Period. If we could just understand those two dividing lines and those two role agendas, those two gender roles, I should say. If we can get those two things clear, I believe it would make women make better decisions as it relates to those things. Because if I'm a woman and I'm in control of sex or childbirth, then I'm going to be very careful about what I choose. And I'm also going to be very careful about who I choose to have a child by. Now, I know what you're saying. I was young. I was dumb. We all were young, and we all were at some point dumb. I agree. But you know the problem with the world is? In the world does not owe any of us any understanding. It really doesn't. And it's not merciful. The world is not merciful to our dysfunction. The world is not merciful to what we don't understand. The world is not merciful to what we don't know. The world really doesn't care about what we don't know, what we don't understand. That's why it's imperative that we listen to talking points like this and not just get into our emotions when we hear it and say, you know what, I don't like what he said. I don't like what she said. I don't like it. And I'm just going to turn off my ears and I'm not going to listen anymore. Because at the end of the day, you still are left with the rest of your life. And the rest of your life will be based on two things, choices and trade-offs. What else will you trade off with the choices that you make because you won't listen? Because we all have to listen to something. Now, depending on what we listen to, depending on what we accept as good information or bad information, depending on where our head is at the time we hear that information, will still result in two things, choices and trade-offs. And like you hear me always say in every stream, don't you want better outcomes? He will treat you exactly the way he meets you unless you decide to date or mingle or whatever you want to call it with a purpose. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? See, a lot of times sisters go out on a dates with a guy because they want a free meal. You know that's true. You know, it's called free meal dating. Okay? He's getting ready to pay for the whole meal. Okay, so you go on a date because he's paying for the free meal. All right? And you may not even be sexually attracted to him. You just may see that he has money, and so you go out on that date. All right? And you may do that multiple times. So you're really stealing his non-sexual attention. When you know a man by nature is hoping for your sexual attention, but you have no intentions on doing that, so you kind of use his time. Ultimately, he walks away. Everything that you do every behavior that you display, every attitude that you display, every intent that you have, be it negative, positive, or whether you have some ill intent involved in it, brings about an outcome. It brings about a consequence. How he meets you is exactly the way he's going to treat you. No more and no less. No more and no less. And the thing about it is, at the end of the day, we all want relationships, because for all of us that are young, that's in our 30s, 40s, and I'm in my 50s, but I still consider 50 to be kind of relatively young. We're not in our 70s and 80s yet, so 50s is still kind of, you right there. You got less years in front of you than you do behind you, but you're not quite there yet, and with that being said, there's still options of decisions, choices, and trade-offs that you can make in between that time that can bring about different outcomes. So what kind of outcome do you really want is the question. What kind of outcomes do you really want? Should women live their whole lives being bitter? Should they live their whole lives being angry at the decisions that they made in their past? Should they? Is it fair to themselves to do that? And what does it bring about in terms of their health condition by being that way? And will it get the right results? Because energy is transferred. So for every man that you meet and you fail to get beyond yourself and realize and just take accountability that you made some bad decisions. Yes, we all make bad decisions. Okay, fine. Now let's get over it. Because you make bad decisions, do you have to hold on to all the vitriol, all the anger, all the animosity, of your bad decision, instead of just coming to realization that you're human, that you're going to make the bad decisions today, you're going to make them tomorrow, you're going to continue making bad decisions until you leave this planet. But as you make bad decisions going forward, each decision that you make that's not so good will never be as bad as the ones you made earlier, because you should have been learning as you went forward. That's how you get better results, ladies. That's how you get better results. That's how you attract the thing that you want, because we don't get what we want. We get who we are. Now you have to ask yourself the question: who am I today, right now, right at this moment? Who am I right now? If I'm a woman and I'm looking for the man that I desire, how am I? Who am I right now that's going to attract that man that I really want? Who am I right now that's going to attract that man that I really want? And am I qualified psychologically, emotionally, to get the outcomes that I say I want? Can I get it? Or do I just simply desire it? Can I get it? Because as we get older, again, like I said, we need each other. And we are better together than we are apart, and we just are. So if that is true, and it is, and it is, and it is, then what are we doing today for sisters right now, women right now, who have children, and the father may not be present? And I'm talking to any sister who listens to this stream now or who listens to it later. If you have children and you have a father who's not there now and you guys didn't work out, how has that affected you emotionally? How has that affected you psychologically? Who are you now? Are you fit emotionally and psychologically to move on to the next level? Can you get a new relationship? Will anybody accept you with who you are right now? Because we don't get what we want. Again, we get who we are. So who are you right now, based on all the decisions that were made in the past? Even if they didn't give you the right results. Even if they didn't give you the right results. Choices, trade-offs. What was traded off based on the decisions? Did you trade off your psychological stability? Did you trade off your emotional stability? Did you trade off your ability to be feminine? Did you trade off your ability to even comply and be submissive and be compliant and happy and friendly with a man? Has that been traded off because of past choices? Are you that angry now because of the choices that you made? We don't get what we want, we get who we are. And whoever you meet going forward will treat you exactly the way they meet you. They won't treat you any less or any more than who you are right now. Right now. Who are you right now? Are you friendly to be around now based on past decisions? Or has it poisoned your spirit? Are you pleasant to be around now based on your past choices? And they didn't work out so well. What has it turned you into? Have you turned into some kind of monster? Have you started to medicate on food? Have you begun to medicate on sex? Have you medicated now on drinking? What are you medicating on now? Have you begun to hang out with a lot of your single friends who are probably in the same situation that you are in right now, currently? And you kind of guys give each other confirmation and verification and validation based on bad choices? What have you become? Who have you turned into? Who are you right now? Remember, we get not what we want, we get who we are. We get who we are. Men will treat you exactly the way they meet you. Now, you want better outcomes? You say, well, you're saying a whole lot, Charles. You're saying a whole lot. Now tell us what we're supposed to do about that. I'm glad you asked. What are we supposed to do about that? Well, one, you could get therapy. What? Therapy? That's for crazy people. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I ain't getting no therapy. You know how your neck go all over the place like that? I ain't getting no therapy. Yeah, therapy. Yeah. Sit on somebody's couch. That way you can come face to face and get an objective standpoint, an objective viewpoint outside of your own emotions. Nothing wrong with therapy. Nothing wrong with therapy. I am a firm believer that most of the black community needs therapy. Oh yeah, we need therapy. Most of the black community needs therapy. We need to sit on somebody's couch. And I don't mean a family member's couch either. I mean a couch. A therapeutic couch. Because we have issues. Men and women. But ladies, I am talking to you. We desire to see a day where the outcomes that we visualize right now every day when we walk outside no longer exist. You could barely find a black woman that's happy. You can barely find one. And if you poll 1,000 of them, 999 of them will tell you that they're not happy. In the freest world on the planet, in the freest country on the planet, they're unhappy. Why? Bad choices, bad outcomes, and they don't even know who to blame in particular because they've never been told what accountability is. What accountability is as it relates to them. It's not altogether their fault. You've heard me say on previous streams again. The average black woman was raised in a home. 85% was raised in a home without a father, without a male figure. They've never seen their mother interact with a man. They don't know what healthy interaction looks like. They've never seen it. They don't know what a healthy marriage interaction, one respecting the other, wife serving her husband. They've never seen it. Not long term. All they've seen is hookups, breakups, and divorce. So when it becomes their turn to get into a relationship, these are their reference points. These are their reference points. Hookups, divorce, breakups. This is what they see. So these are the reference points that they're using as they go into a relationship. And in most cases, they watch their mother disrespecting the men that they were with. So then they're taught subconsciously or consciously that this is how I should interact with a man. If he says something to me, I should not listen to him. I don't have to respect him. I shouldn't respect him. In fact, I should just overtalk him. And if he act like he want to do something, well, let's go. And then it's the same cycle continuing over and over again, over and over again. You want the results to change, ladies. How does the results change? It changes by you changing right here. It changes by you changing right here. Start finding out what real men, I'm not talking about boys. Boys want nothing. Boys want something to be given to them for free. Boys want to jump in and get the benefits that they never worked for. That's what boys do. But men don't do that. You want a man, not a boy. Okay? And if you want a man and not a boy, then you want to find out what do men want. That way you don't have to keep repeating the cycle of the same choices and trade-offs that have gotten you the outcomes that were unfavorable to you, that's made you this angry, unhappy black woman that you have become today. To where now you're not even approachable to a black man. A black man won't even approach you, can't hardly approach you. You're too tired from work, and you're too uninterested when you're off work. So it makes it's a lose-lose situation for him. But if you find out what he wants and begin to till yourself and throw off the scales of the old ideas and the old teachings and the old indoctrination of what you got coming up, then you can remove, and we can remove together as a community, what we always like to call in church as generational curses. Okay? Generational curses is what keeps the whole black community single parented, with 85% of all the children born out of wedlock, with a mother being the only sole provider in that home. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. We should be tired of that. We should be tired of that. And the thing about it is, if a man is with you and your attitude and your behavior is so intolerable that he can't stay there with you, that it breaks his heart to even leave, but he has to leave, because if he stays, he'll die, just because you're not the kind of wife or the kind of woman that he can live with without losing his mind, then it turns into the same thing. It turns into the same thing when you meet the next guy. If in fact that relationship dissolves, that person, that next guy, he's going to treat you the same way he meets you. It's not going to be different. It'll be the same problems, but in the beginning, it'll be just like every other relationship. It'll be that honeymoon stage where you guys are going and you're sharing ice cream cones together at Coney Island, or you're going to Atlantic City and you're walking the boardwalk holding hands, and you're at Great Adventure on a ride or something. You know, all the cute stuff that you do in the beginning. But over time, the real problems that's going on with you on the inside will begin to come out. And as it starts to come out, he'll be running away just like that. He'll be running away just like that. We have to get to a point, ladies, where we take accountability for how it is that we actually act. How are we acting, ladies? How are you acting that secures the outcomes that you say, not what I say, what you say you want? Because we want to get to the end of life, and you'll always hear me drill this point. You're going to always hear me drill this point on my podcast, on my platform. You'll always hear me drill this point, and that point is, we want to get to the end of life with someone that we can look to our left or our right and they're with us. I know that's what you want, right? That's what you want. You don't want to die alone by yourself. Who wants to do that? The value and the quality of life is to die with someone that you care about. That's there for you, in old age, and you're together. I'm not talking about the unfortunate circumstances of a mate who dies early. But even in those situations, as sadly as it is, if it's the man that dies, she, as the wife, she's still one. If it's her that dies, he's still one. They both lived their life together. And sadly enough, the statistics still remain. And you'll always hear me say this, and I'm going to have to keep saying it on every stream. 1 in 4 black women will marry. 1 in 4 will marry. That means 3 will die by themselves. Will die by themselves. So if those numbers are correct, and they are, right? Then how do we change those numbers? How do we change the dynamics of those numbers? Because those numbers represent our family members. Some of those numbers represent family members. Some of those represent friends that we know. Some of those represent co-workers that we work with. And even more sadly, some of those numbers represent you. They represent you. Now, I know you're not accepting those numbers. You can change it, but it's going to require work. And I'm a firm believer again that black women are lazy when it comes to doing the work necessary to change the dynamics. It's easier to blame someone. It's easier to say men are the problem. It's easier to say Negroes are the problem. You know what I'm saying. It's easier to say that. But is it true? Is it true? Or is it just a nice mask to avoid accountability? That's the next question. I'm going to read you some statistics, and I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this. The average earnings of a black female in the United States is $27,800 per year. 80% of all black children are born outside of wedlock. Now I want you to listen to these stats to tell me, you tell me if we are doing well, if you are doing well as black women. 80% of all black children are born outside of wedlock. Black women divorce at a rate as high as they marry. And the stats don't change no matter who you're with. These stats, they don't change. Now listen to these retirement stats. This is when you get into the end of life. Listen to this. These are retirement stats for black women who live alone. 91% of black women earn less than $75,000 per year. Now I want you to think about what I said earlier. $75,000 per year. 91% of black women earn less than $75,000 a year. Now listen to that number. Listen to that number. Do your math in your head. What did I tell you the average black man makes? I told you he makes about $41 to $42.5, right? Doesn't $75,000 a year sound like 2 incomes? When you're talking about average income throughout the country, based on the population of the United States, based on the 85% of black women and black men, you're looking at 2 incomes when you look at $75,000 a year. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. All right? Now I want you to think. If that equals two incomes, 17% of black women earn $50,000 to $75,000 per year. 26% earn $50,000 or more. That's 74% out of four. Out of every four black women, that's 74% out of every four black women who earn less than $50,000. Ooh, stop. Listen. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Ladies, what does that mean? That means even if you live to the age of 85 years old, you still will suffer a shortfall of approximately $1 million within the period of 65 to 85, living on one income that does not equal what you earned while you were still physically working. Did you hear what I just said? You can't afford to be by yourself. You can't survive by yourself unless you survive in a group. And I'm talking about a group of women, all y'all living in the house together. That's what I'm talking about. But if you don't intend, if that's not your desire to live like that, if your desire is to get the man of your choice and get the outcomes that you want, you're going to have to change, ladies. You're going to have to change to a point where you can attract the man that you want, where you're not so unattractive in terms of behavior, attitude, language, communication, how you communicate, and how you carry yourself. Work on yourself. Do the work. Do the work that's necessary and that's required for you to attract the man that you want. Simply wanting the man that you want is not sufficient. You have to do the work to get the man that you want. It's like anything we want in life. It requires something of us. We can't just say we want it and then just pop up at the front door. I mean, if you want to go to Harvard, can you just walk to the front door of Harvard University and say, "Hi, I'm here. I want to join the school"? They're going to say, "Okay, let me see your transcript." They're not even going to be impressed that you're standing there. They may admire your ambition. They even may admire your eagerness. But they still want to ask you for your transcript. And they want to see what your GPA look like. They want to see a track record of successful educational proficiency. That's what they want to see. And if they can't see that, they're going to bid you a good afternoon. Likewise, ladies, if you want the outcomes that you say you want, then it's going to be work required. If you don't want to do the work to get yourself fit, if you don't want to do the work to develop feminine qualities that's going to attract a man, because a man does not like a woman who's masculine. If you're not going to do the work to attract a man, right, by being cooperative and not combative, if you're not going to do the work to attract the man that you said you want, by being submissive. I know you don't like that word, but I'm going to keep saying it. You know what submissive means? It just means being agreeable. That's all it means. That's all it means. So don't trip. Submissive just means being agreeable. If you're not going to do the work, then don't say you want a man. Don't say it. Just stop. Because the days of just showing up and a man just accepting you, no matter how you come, loud, disrespectful, over talking him and all that, that toxic behavior, those days are over. Men are talking now. They're talking today, and they're talking loudly, and they're telling women what they want. You know why? Because as black men, we want you. We want you. But you don't seem eager enough. And you don't seem like it's important enough to you that you want us. So What's the alternative? The alternative is when you see your black man move off into another state, into another city, or into another country, and he's with someone else. It's because the way they meet each other is the way he's going to treat her. But how he meets you, ladies, is how he treats you. So now you have to find out, why am I being treated like this, and what information am I giving to him that gives him permission to treat me the way he's treating me? What am I teaching him? What am I telling him is okay? What am I telling him is okay? And then when he does it, I get upset. I hope this helped. I hope this helped. For those of you that's on the line, that's on this stream, I hope it helped, because it's very important. We have to turn the tables. We have to turn the tables. We can't keep going like this. It's not working. I know you see it's not working. You walk into any city that you live in right now, wherever you live, whatever town you live in, and you tell me honestly, you ask yourself and you answer honestly to yourself, do you see black women winning? Do you see them winning anywhere you go? Anywhere? Do you see them winning? No. They're losing. And you know what they're losing? They're losing their men. Now for those that don't care about losing their men, okay. You heard me say in previous streams, Becky will take them. So will Marisol. So will Julie. So will Jasmine. They'll take them because the whole world is watching black women and how black women treat their men. Ladies, men will treat you the way they meet you. Aren't you tired of how you're being treated? Thank you guys. Thank you for getting on this stream. Again, it's always a pleasure to get on this stream and talk to you. I want to see results, man, and that's really what it boils down to. And keep coming on the stream. Spread the word. Tell somebody about these streams. If it's helping you, and if it's not helping you, okay, don't tell nobody. But if it's helping you, if you appreciate what I'm saying, if you see the value in what I'm saying, if you're that type of sister who can get out of your feelings and get out of your emotions and actually hear what I'm saying and not necessarily get caught up on words, verbs, nouns that I'm saying and say, you know what, I'm not listening to him anymore and just cancel me out. You know what I mean? If you're not that type of sister, then, you know, share it. Tell somebody so they can come and get the same value that you're getting. Because the talking points are not going to stop. They're not going to stop. All we want is to do is see better relations. We want to see a better black community. If nobody cares, then somebody from among us and among our community has to care. You know. And while I'm doing this, before they decide they don't want to hear me do it anymore and cut me off, support me, because I'm doing it for you. I want to see something happen for us that's different than what we see. Because when we walk outside, you know we don't see what we should see. This world is going completely bananas. And our community is going right along with it. So we have to get in place like a good soldier and galvanize our efforts together and get our community back together. But ladies, you will never get the outcomes that you say you want until you realize where you're going wrong. Take accountability. Don't go into shame, insult, guilt, the need to be right. Don't seek to insult when you hear these talking points. Don't seek to get angry when you hear these talking points. Don't seek to try to humiliate the individual. Don't kill the messenger. Just get better. That's it. Just get better. Don't get angry, get better. And I promise you, our community will change. And it'll change for the better. And I promise you, even changing for the better, it's going to make somebody angry. But guess what? That's okay. Because you'll be able to pat yourself, even as an individual, and knowing that you did the work yourself. So for each lady that hears this message, you do the work. You as an individual. And after you do the work, each one, meet one, and then teach one, and we can bring this whole thing back together and spin this whole thing back around. And it'll look different in the next 50 years from now. Because it took us 50 years to get to where we are right now. And we can fix this. Alright? Alright, sisters, ladies. I'm Charles Chambliss. This is Let's Talk About It. I appreciate you. You all have a blessed night.